Welcome to another episode of NCCI's Insights Video Edition. I'm Sheila Fordson. In our second installment of NCCI's annual Insights Symposium coverage, we're focusing on two main stage sessions, one on the deconstruction of large claims and another that takes a detailed look at medical trends in workers' compensation. And joining us for the discussion are Sandra Kippas, NCCI Senior Practice Leader and Actuary, and Associate Actuary and AIS presenter, Ane Myers. Ladies, welcome to the Insights Video Edition.
Thank you. It's great to be here.
Yes, thanks for having us.
So, starting with Under the Microscope, Medical Trends in Workers' Compensation. Sandra, you supported the research for this presentation. It was delivered by Carolyn Wise and Len Herc. What are some of the key insights that were shared?
That's a great question, Sheila. The study measured the change in utilization of physician services. But you know what? A great place to start is answering the question of what is utilization and why is it important? And then I'll come back to the insights. We care about utilization because we really want to understand medical loss trends. Price is not the only factor driving medical claim severity changes. Think of it this way. Suppose prices stayed constant, but there were more severe injuries, right? Obviously, the average cost of a claim would go up, even though prices didn't change. Or, let's say injuries didn't change, but we shifted to using different treatment methods. For example, suppose doctors used to turn to surgery to treat a certain injury, but now they're prescribing physical therapy. The average cost of a claim would go down, even though prices didn't change.
So it sounds like utilization is driven by two things, the severity of injuries and the amount of treatment provided. Is that correct?
Absolutely. So unfortunately, it's very complicated to quantify utilization. In our recent research, we developed an approach to determine utilization for physician services. Our research looked at results over the last decade, and here are the findings. Change due to severity of injuries is a decrease of 2% over that period. There were more leg and shoulder injuries, which were mostly offset by fewer back and neck injuries. Diagnoses were less severe, more sprains, fewer muscle tears. The change due to the types of treatment, on the other hand, was up by 9%. We had less major surgery, but that was more than offset by additional physical therapy. If we put the two pieces together, total utilization for physician services is an increase of 8%. And there's one other thing that I wanted to mention. We performed this analysis on all claims, but changes in utilization can be significantly higher if we only look at large claims. This is because advances in medicine for the most severe injuries, such as burn claims, put pressure on claim costs.
And speaking of large claims, Ane, you and Raji Chattaravian presented on the deconstruction of large claims, defined as claims totaling $1 million or more. And we learned at AIS that new research from NCCI segments these types of claims into two categories. Can you share what those categories are and how they're defined?
One great thing about this question, Sheila, is the categories we identified are both intuitively motivated and data-driven. Our instinct is to initially associate large claims with rare and extremely traumatic events, a car accident that results in severe burns or a fall from heights that result in severe fractures. Both of these scenarios typically require immediate and intensive medical services and consequently are quickly identified by carriers. We turned that idea into a data-driven definition. Since these claims are quickly identified, we call them fast emerging claims. Claims that exceed $1 million in incurred losses within 2 years of injuries belong to this category. Now, once you have fast emerging claims, the natural counterpart is slow emerging ones. From a data perspective, that includes any claim that exceeds $1 million in incurred loss beyond 2 years from the injury. Again, intuition corresponds to the technical definition. Not all claims that become large are immediately known. In fact, most claims that end up exceeding $1 million in cost are of the slow emerging variety and commonly reflect degenerative conditions or repetitive strain. Applying these definitions to more traditional analyses of large claims, such as frequency and severity, we found clear and meaningful differences.
That's a great point, Anne. The research showed that traumatic brain injuries often require extensive home healthcare services. And as of March, the inflation rate for home healthcare services was pretty high, around 7.5%. On the other hand, degenerative disc disorders have a higher share of costs related to prescription drugs, which has a lower inflation rate, around 2.5%. So clearly, identifying and understanding the mix of medical services for different injuries allows us to more accurately apply trends and better estimate ultimate claim costs.
So you both shared a lot of valuable insight on these two topics. Were there any challenges that you came upon while conducting this research?
Yeah, absolutely. So we learned how complicated it is to create an index to measure utilization. We were able to do it for physician services, but what we really want to accomplish is to determine a way to measure utilization for all, or at least most, components of medical costs, such as facilities, drugs, home health care, medical supplies. It's complicated, but we're exploring the feasibility. If we had the majority of the pieces, we could really understand trends. So, for example, if medical severity increases by 5%, we'd know how to break that up into how much was due to price and how much was due to changes in utilization. And that would be exciting.
It is exciting to tackle new frontiers in research and to discover new perspectives on familiar topics like claim frequency. Relative to lost time claims, large claim frequencies decreased over the past 10 years or so, and that's even more pronounced in the context of declines in lost time claim frequency highlighted in State of the Line. But deconstructing that trend indicates the decline is driven by slow emerging claims, specifically declines in disc degeneration and pain diagnoses. But then the decline is being offset by an increase in the most severe of large claims, namely more fast emerging burns, spinal cord injuries, and TBIs over the same time period. These trends can be countered or driven by changes in workplace safety, utilization, and price.
Some useful resources are available on the AIS Highlights Report on NCCI.com, and that is 2 guides for these sessions that we've discussed today. Can you talk a little bit more about what users will find in those guides, how they can be used as a companion for the videos that are there as well?
The AIS Highlights Report is really valuable because it's created with the users in mind. There are resources for everyone, whether you're looking for high-level takeaways or a deep dive into the analysis. The report gives users access to videos of live presentations, presentation slides, and in-depth guides for both under the microscope and deconstructing large claim analyses, as well as the State of the Line presented by Chief Actuary Donna Glenn.
Yeah, personally, I really like the guide. It has 3 sections for each slide. There's key insights, background information, and data. On the data tab, you'll find specifics about the source data or an actual table of numbers. And honestly, I find myself referring back to it all the time.
Well, Sandra, Ane, thank you so much for joining us here on the Insights Video Edition and sharing so much valuable content and information from AIS 2023.
Yeah, thank you so much for having us. This was great.
Yeah, it's been a wonderful experience.
You can get full coverage of AIS 2023, including videos, the guides referenced here today, and more in the AIS Highlights Report located at ncci.com/AIS. And you'll want to follow us across social media for in-the-moment updates on NCCI research, webinars, events, and more. Be sure to subscribe to channel NCCI so you never miss a video update. I'm Sheila Fortson. Be sure to join us next time when we discuss the issues at the top of the workers' comp agenda from the source you trust.